yet another video about walking the Camino de Santiago. I'm basically making these videos as I'm unpacking, which makes it really easy to make the videos. I guess I could have made them while I was packing, but that process took probably 3 weeks. So I'm hoping this process of unpacking, I'm hoping to finish it in one day. Anyway, this video is going to be about trekking poles. So I'm not a big hiker, but I did used to have some poles. They were black diamond poles, the kind that like would fold down into 3 parts to be about that long, you know, maybe 14 inches long, and would have been very easy to carry. They would have probably even fit into my backpack. But they were so old that when I took them out of the closet, the hand grip, which I don't know what it was made out of, some kind of, it wasn't cork, which is what I have now, just completely disintegrated in my hands. So I decided I needed new poles. So I started reading about poles, and the problem with the type of poles I used to have is they're not adjustable to your height. They're just the height that they are. So I decided I wanted poles that could be adjusted to my height and also adjusted for when you're hiking uphill or downhill. So I went to REI and I purchased some, well, you know what's going to be inside of here in addition to my poles are all the souvenirs I bought. But anyway, I bought, oh yeah, there's one, a t-shirt, and there's some more. Came in handy. Oh, there's another one. So anyway, I bought these. They're ladies black diamond alpine poles, and they were the most expensive ones they had in the store. They were $199. Cork handles and fully adjustable. Like they come out there, and they have markings where you so you can remember how far you wanted it out. They actually come fully apart. I didn't realize that until it started slipping on me. Anyway, so you know, I was able to adjust these, and I read about, yeah, alpine carbon 95 to 125 centimeter poles. And one of my friends said she didn't really like the metal tips that came on them. She preferred rubber tips. So I got these rubber tips. Later to come find out, she meant the bigger rubber tips, and almost everybody on the trip did have those bigger rubber tips, but this worked fine for me. One of the poles was slipping. I can't see if the guys could do it. Probably wasn't that one. I don't know. It didn't occur to me to tell if it was slipping by doing that. So what do I have this on? 110. 110. See how tight that is? I think it must be this pole, and I have this one on 110. There. See how loose that is? So the guys were actually able to push it in and out. Anyway, it was slipping, and so I had to keep adjusting it, and I think it probably needs a special tool that, like a little Allen wrench that came with the poles, but when I went to watch the video, it said, oh, be careful with the packaging. Don't throw away that little Allen wrench that comes with the poles because you're going to need it. But I probably threw it away, so I need to get another one. Anyway, these poles were, I had never used really poles before on a hike like I had. They were incredibly useful. There were a lot of hills on this trip, and the first day it was brutal, and I didn't use the poles at all. I had them. I had actually attached them to my day pack using, they kind of slid in the bottom, and then I used these little Velcro things to wrap around up higher and get them really attached well, so they weren't going to fall off. So I had them with me, strapped onto my pack. I'm not sure why I didn't use them the first day, but I climbed up all those hills without them, and yeah, it was hard. I'm not gonna lie. And it wasn't really my muscles as much as it was my breathing. It was difficult. So the next day, I didn't use them in the morning, and then in the afternoon we ran into a strip of land where it was not only steep but very rocky, and you really had to find your footing, and fortunately it was not raining, and you know, you needed something. So I took one pole out and I used one pole, and then one of the younger men on the trip was really helpful to me and helped make sure I didn't fall, basically. But I thought, wow, this pole is really helpful. And then, so I used it the rest of that day. And then on the third day, I thought, you know, I'm gonna try to use both of the poles and see how that does. And it was amazing. I mean, so for the next 3 days of walking, I used both poles, and it was so helpful. It relieved so much of the pressure on my back and on my knees, and I have back issues, and it just made my back hurt a lot less by the end of the day using these poles. So I highly recommend using poles if you're going to walk the Camino, unless you're really young and really healthy and have absolutely no health issues. But if you have, you know, back issues or hip issues like I do, then the poles were great. But then the question came, how am I going to get these over there? Because you know, a lot of the airlines are not going to let you take them. So mine squished down, and this is probably why I broke that one clasp, because I squished them down all the way, and then I tried to close it really hard and it won't close. But it squished down like that to about 23, 22 inches maybe. And so one of my friends suggested maybe you could, well, first, before that, I bought this pack for the poles, which holds the poles. That's what it's for, to hold the poles. It fit them perfectly, but it didn't give any structural support, and I was going to chuck them in my luggage. So I was a little worried about that. So my friend had this idea to use a mailing tube to take your poles. So that's what I did. It has a little zipper pouch here, this pack, and I took some extra tips just in case I lost a tip. So I went to the FedEx store and I got a 4-inch in diameter by 24-inch long mailing pole, kind of heavy. So it added a little weight, but the poles fit down in there perfectly. Together with the case, I put my name on it just in case I got lost. And then coming home, as you saw earlier, all my souvenirs fit in there too, so that was handy. So that's the story of the poles. I'm no expert. I can just say from personal experience that they were very helpful to me, and I'm glad I went through the extra effort to find a way to get them over there and to actually take them over there, because it did take up an awful lot of room in my duffel to have this in there. That's the end of this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.